Great evening and happy Valentine's Day. Happy Mindful Love Day. So Naya Powell here, founder and CEO of Utopia Spa and Global Wellness. Thank you all for your patience. We had a little technical challenge, so we just had to rework it and make it work. So that's what we do. And I'm here joined by lovely Luna. She is one of our amazing meditation and mindfulness instructors on the Utopia team. Luna, would you like to say hello?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this beautiful day of all about love, language, appreciation, things fun.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, on this day of Valentine's Day, it's kind of fun to talk about love and relationships. And a book that I love that I've read many, many years ago, over a decade ago, is The Five Love Languages. And last year we did a panel kind of discussion, and you were on it with your husband, and we had some other couples, and it was really such a phenomenal conversation. And I feel like out of the couples that were on there, I learned a lot from all of them, but I really learned a lot from the two of you. You are a wife of 20 years and you are a mother of beautiful children. And, I just want to like maybe ask, what was some of your biggest takeaways or ahas from that discussion? And we're going to get into what the five love languages are. Don't worry.
Thank you, Naya. I have to say, I will credit you for this opportunity of finding out about love languages. It was a new one for us. We came very open minded. I think, as I was saying backstage, we were the perfect guinea pigs, just kind of open to what this is about. And is there a love language? And my God, did we find out so much about each other? So, should I go ahead and tell our love language or?
Well, I think we will invite
We'll reveal it.
listen into what the love languages are and what they're all about. So I find that, when I talk to people, a lot of people actually know about the love languages because it's been out for a while. And it's a book that was authored by Dr. Gary Chapman. And what he realized in many years of being a counselor is that, when he's talking to couples, a lot of times there's a disconnect because the way people might show love might be very different than how their partner or their loved one receives love. And even as I digress a moment, Luna and I were talking about this backstage, the pre-show. Even in today's blog post, we do a weekly blog post and we do a mindful Monday post, and we call today our, mindful love Monday. And we really want to talk about more than just the romantic love, but the love that's in so many different areas of our lives. It shows up in so many different relationships. And it makes me think of a quote that I saw when I was traveling and I was in Belize, a place that I love. And it said, pay attention. There is love all around you. And I think when we really start to take an inventory and pay attention and start to notice, yes, there is love all around us. And so that might be in a relationship with a romantic partner, a spouse, that could be children, that could be friends, that could be family, your parents, your siblings, your children, that could be, extended aunts, uncles. It could also be pets. So there's a neighborly love. So there's so many different forms of love. And so not only are there different forms of love, but there are different ways that we receive love. And so do you remember the five love languages?
I very much do. I very much do. So the five love languages that were physical touch is one, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and gifts.
Yeah.
So brilliant, like whoever came up with it, I think it was a brilliant breakup of how you would like someone to, and I like to say this, arrive for you. And everyone is so unique.
Yeah. Everyone is so unique. And, the thing that I really appreciate that, yes, Siobhan, I see you on LinkedIn. Love is all around us. It's all around us. And it's a beautiful thing when we just take a moment to pause and look at how it shows up. And the thing that Gary Chapman talks about in the book is that because we speak different languages when it comes to love, someone could be, pouring their heart out to show us that they love us. And if it's not the language that we speak, we could be totally missing it. It could be like boats passing in the night, like, what? That meant love? So, one of the things that really stood out to me in the book was he talked about how, this husband was like, I tell my wife I love her every day. They're in therapy. They're in therapy. He says, I tell her I love her every day. I tell her she's beautiful and I love her every day. And she says that she doesn't feel loved. I don't understand. He was so confused. And she says, I have the kids, I'm cleaning, I'm cooking, I'm exhausted. You never offer to help. You
Yeah.
don't love me. You don't love me because you never offer to help. So
There you
her
go.
language would be acts of service,
There
right?
you
So
there
acts
you go.
of service is acts of help. It's help me when I need help.
Yes.
Entrepreneurial.
That's the thing. I mean, unless you are connecting and that's why I find it such a revelation for us that we would not even have thought about it. We both were speaking our own love language for each other that was not resonating on any levels and was leaving us completely confused. In fact, I love this quiz so much. Like you said, like couples therapy should actually have this quiz to begin with. Like, I don't think you need couples therapy after you figured out each other's love language. Like
Yeah.
that's how important it is to know. Like it should be in the manual for anyone who's deciding to get married or even appreciation language. Naya, as you mentioned, even as a coworker and even in that space, this is a good information, more like an education that
Yeah.
is needed.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And I just put the link to the quiz. It also should be in the chat so you can take the quiz. Hey, it's a fun date night. The night is still young, it's still early. So if you're, about to go to dinner or you see this when you come back, if you haven't taken it, take it. And actually, if it's been a while, I would recommend taking it again. It's a fun quiz that really helps you to learn yourself. And part of love and loving from a healthy place is first falling in love with yourself, and having a healthy relationship with yourself. And that is really key. And so we have to also know what our needs are, and really what our wants and our needs are. And so most of us have a primary and a secondary love language. So I'm going to share what those different love languages really are and what they're not. So we talked about acts of service. Acts of service is when you offer to help someone. And let's not even assume there might be ways that people really appreciate how we show up more than others. So you could say, well, I'm going to take the car and get the car washed. I love that. But someone might say, well, I actually would prefer if your acts of service was like to cook a meal. And so really taking time to understand the person that you're in and not only what their love languages are, but what are the ways that they love for that to show up. Another love language is appreciation, which is also shown. I think appreciation is a way that falls in each and every one of the languages, quite
Yeah.
honestly. But words of affirmation is going to be a very direct way of appreciating with our words. And that could be, a compliment. Thank you. I appreciate you. You look beautiful. You look nice. And finding out what sorts of words of affirmation really mean a lot to you. And I can say that I've had relationships where someone might be good at saying, I'm proud of you. You're really smart, but they're not as good as giving compliments. And like girly girls like compliments because we like put effort into looking cute. Look cute.
Exactly. And then that's the love language and the appreciation language, I think it extends, and which is what we were talking, it extends beyond a romantic relationship. It extends out into girlfriends, your relationship with your children, your relationship with your coworkers, as
Yeah.
we're discussing. It's limitless.
And I love the fact that you brought up coworkers because we said, how can we transform? This is about transforming our relationships at home and work because we spend sometimes more time at work than we do even at home. And studies show that people will work harder for recognition than they will for money. Recognition, appreciation is what a lot of people, it allows them to feel purposeful. And like you said, Luna, these words of affirmation, these apply to every single one of our relationships, our friendships, our colleagues, our managers, our siblings, our parents, for all of them. And we just finished celebrating my mom's birthday, which is today. She's a Valentine's Day baby. And so my mom is quality time and acts of service. are the biggest two. And I would say affirmation is probably a third. And so some people have a big distance between how they rank, and some
Yeah.
people are going to be within 1 point of each other. But I want
Right.
to also share that, quality time. Quality time is not just being near someone and holding space with someone. It's being attentive. It's putting the phone down.
Mhm.
It's having a conversation. It's making eye contact. It's not being distracted where you're on your tablet, I'm on my tablet, and we've been sitting in the same room for, 3 hours, but we haven't said a word or even acknowledged one another.
Yeah.
So talk
Yeah.
to me about how you like your quality time to show up.
Absolutely, and like I said, it was a revelation for us, and my quality time, and more like my love language is actually acts of service, and words of affirmation. And I have to add something. I also feel that your love language changes with circumstances, age, and situation. I was all about gifts and and like physical touch maybe in the beginning, but now that with the kids and schedules and all that, things have changed for me. It is definitely I would prefer someone to help me out cooking the dinner, or maybe help me out picking the kids from different their clubs, and that means a lot, versus someone just like, hey, let me just give you a big hug and let's make it all great. I'm like, nah, no, I would I would rather you just do the dishes, or just take care of it. And those really mean a lot to me. I mean, yes, I appreciate a hug, but I appreciate this more.
Mhm.
I feel, and like I said, I feel that you arrive more thoughtful, you arrive more selfless. You are kind of appreciating and noticing the needs of the other person, and even I think a simple statement like, how do you want me to help you today, or just that, I feel beyond Valentine's Day is much appreciated.
And I love the fact that you brought that up. How can I help you today? That's a question that you can ask in any relationship. How can I
Mhm.
support you today?
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you need from me today? So there's
What do you?
lots of ways to ask for
Yes.
a person what it is they need. And that
Correct.
way you can customize exactly how you're choosing to show up, which is showing up mindfully,
Yes.
intentionally, and being
Yes.
purposeful in the
Yeah.
in the way you choose to be present. So your gift is a presence, is a present. And
Yeah.
so I want us to think about that because even in work relationships, I do a lot of executive coaching with just different executives. And sometimes, it doesn't even matter the level. Sometimes there's still difficulty, even at senior leadership, with having, conversations, fruitful conversations with leaders. And
Yes.
so sometimes it's even the conversation of asking the question, right?
Mm.
What would you like to see more of from
Mm.
me? And then also feedback. When we get into feedback, that's a love language in a way, even giving balanced feedback. I always say when you're giving feedback, let's talk about what's going well
Mm.
as well as there might be some opportunity areas. And some people might say, oh, that's that old sandwich way. I believe it's balance. I believe everything should have balance and harmony. And so it creates a place for the relationship to really have a healthy framework. And it also fosters trust when people know that you care about them and you're invested in showing up in the way that they need. So we've talked about words of affirmation. We talked about acts of service. You mentioned a hug. So a hug is a beautiful way to express physical touch, right?
Abs- Absolutely. I mean, nothing says that, and especially I feel after COVID, we will all need so many hugs. I think we just, the whole thing of physical contact, yes, fist bump is a close second, but there's just something about the hug. And I think not, all of us just can't wait as much as sometimes we feel. I think we all have forgotten how to hug, but no, it's going to come right back, and
Mm.
it's going to come because that's something we all have missed, with the pandemic and keeping the distance, and I guess that would be also appreciated, and something that people might grow an interest in, even if they might not have that before. So yes, I can't wait to help people.
Yeah, yeah. And it's so interesting how the world has shifted us to a place where, a a handshake was commonplace and a hug for some. But when we think about the people that you're holding space with and living in the same household with, definitely, a hug, a just a hand on the shoulder or on the back, or just even holding hands. These are things that are appropriate for all types of different family relationships and even some friendships. And so, one of the things that some people sometimes mistake is physical touch doesn't mean sexual touch. It could
Yes.
be just as simple as like a touch on the back, just to let someone know that you're supporting them, especially as we're going through difficult times. It could be a hug. So it doesn't mean necessarily sexual touch, but we're human, and so we're made for connection. And of
Mhm.
course, COVID, there's been a strain on just basic connection. Also, seeing the impact of that in terms of depression and that social isolation. So that physical touch is important because we were
Yes.
created to have contact and community. And then we
Absolutely.
have gifts. Gifts. So gifts was your husband. And you learned that after 20, this year will be 20 years. So congrats. And I thought it was amazing that you all learned your love languages on that call. And you
Yes.
didn't know it before.
No,
Yeah.
we did not. We did not. It, like I said, it was a real revelation for me to just understand, and also kind of it also led into this state of we all are so different and yet operating as a unit, and we just sometimes need an understanding beyond any structure, a family
Mhm.
unit, a work unit, even just coexisting, a human unit,
Yeah.
just sort of knowing that this person is going through a lot, very different, whatever they are arriving, they probably have this whole history behind them that I do not know of. And then the best way to communicate for them would be very different, and as much as we have respect for different languages, I think love language is going to be the next big thing where people will consciously be maybe asking a question: how do you want me to arrive for you today?
Yes, yes. And that's where we get into mindful love. All of it falls under the umbrella of mindful love. And there are going to be some people that really appreciate a gift. And so, those people are usually sentimental people,
Hmm.
that really they value. Those people might be the ones that, they might collect their teddy bears from when they were a kid and still have them all because they hold sentimental value in certain things. And so it's funny because gifts is the least of mine. It's not that I don't like gifts. Like I love flowers, I love cards, or if it's something that I really feel like I need. But quality time is really number one, and I would say acts of service is probably number two. Words of affirmation and physical touch are probably about a neck and neck third. And then what else was there? Did I give them all?
Yeah,
And
you
but
give them all. Yes, physical touch works. Words of affirmation,
yeah,
gift, quality
yeah,
time, and acts of service. That you got it. Yeah,
yeah. And but gifts is like the least one. And
yeah.
so it's important to know these things, right? And so when we think about these all apply, I think, very easily at home and in relationships, but just to go back to the work environment, right? And I want us to think about how will we apply this knowledge now that we know there are five love languages? How will we go ahead and maybe take the quiz as the next step? I always believe in what's the action item. How will we start to incorporate this conversation with our loved ones and our colleagues? And so thinking about our coworkers and thinking about maybe even doing a survey, and saying, hey, what are the ways that you like to be appreciated, recognized, and rewarded? So we know that the benefits manager, the rewards and recognition team, they're constantly trying to find out how to incentivize associates and how to keep them engaged. But even as a team lead or even as a colleague, finding out, is it lunch?
Mm.
Is it a wellness workshop with Utopia or virtual classes? Is
Yes.
it, if you're in the office, is it somebody really appreciates the fact that you just brought them a coffee or the tea from the cafeteria? But really understanding this is a wonderful way to elevate our relationships and acknowledging people and appreciating them in these different ways that they really, really speak that language. Is there ever a time, Luna, where you think about a complete miss, like maybe something that you were doing for a loved one And then you realize, like, wow, I put a lot of effort in doing this thing, but they really appreciate and value this thing.
Too many, too many. And that's exactly why your quiz was such a revelation. I can't say it enough because, like I said, we all think that it is what we like is what everybody else likes. You
Hmm.
know, and I even extended this out to my kids because there's this whole love language for kids too, and
Hmm.
just knowing them. It like this is what I would say if you would decide to do this, and I've also done it in a working corporate workshop as well, that when you do this, you will be very surprised. I was surprised each time. I just thought I knew everything. I knew how to arrive for people. I am a mindfulness teacher. I'll be so awesome. I sucked at it. I was bad. No one, like, so that's how different and how the discrepancy is so much that it's like I said, it's education. It's worth educating yourself, and
Hmm.
it improves relationships. It really makes you understand not only personal but even your work relationships where you're spending so much time that this
Hmm.
is not how this person wants me to arrive, or maybe this person needs a space because sometimes you're like, do I help you? And sometimes I extend this out to even when I have a colleague wants to rant. I even sometimes ask them, how do you want me to arrive for you? Should I just be a listener or do you want me to give you advice? And
Hmm.
normally I would jump and give advice. But I've been told so many times, no, just listen, just hear me out. That's it.
See, I love that. I love that. And I always say the answer is at the end of the question. And sometimes all we need to do is ask the question
I like
and
that.
hold space for folks in the way that they really want it and need it
Beautiful.
at the time. So I
Mhm.
think with that, I think it would be wonderful to move into a mindful appreciation moment and
Sure.
to close us out with that. And I also want to share for those of you that are just getting to know us for the first time, Utopia Spa and Global Wellness is a wonderful live and on-demand virtual platform that allows you to experience multicultural wellness. So we have live classes 6 days a week and a on-demand library of hundreds of classes. And Luna is one of our team members, so she provides mindfulness and meditation weekly, multiple times a week. We also offer wellness workshops. We offer wonderful classes such as yoga, such as Pilates, such as mindfulness, such as kickboxing, such as cultural movement, Zumba, reggaeton, and Bollywood, and so many fun things. So we have something for everyone. I would like to invite you. I'm going to go ahead and put the link in the chat to join us for a free trial and experience a little Utopia Spa and Global Wellness. So with that, I will let you close us out, Luna.
Right, absolutely. So I will just invite everyone, like I said, every class, let's create a little container for ourselves, no matter where we're sitting, no matter how crazy your outside is, we can manage to harness that mindful peace place from right within our hearts. So let's tap into that. Let's just arrive, become comfortable on your seat, and just settle in with an exhale, a slow exhale, a rotation of the neck, whatever helps you kind of sink into this moment. Just find something to focus on in front of you, just creating a soft focus as you gently arrive in this moment. And notice how the breath just presents itself. It's like that friend that is always with you. Let's acknowledge that. And slowly take a deep breath in through your nose, feeling the temperature, maybe a coolness in your nostril, and then gently exhale out. And as you do, feel free to lower your gaze or close your eyes. Just think of something today that you are appreciative of. It could be a person, it could be a circumstance. Just in this moment, whatever it is that comes to you that you're appreciative of. And with a mindful pause, take a moment to really extend your love towards it. And now go ahead and think of a person in your life that you are appreciative of. Again, it could be a coworker, it could be a family member, it could also be a pet. Whoever it is that you want to extend your appreciation. And thinking of them, just say to them, I appreciate you today. See that person receiving your appreciation wishes. And now gently bring your awareness to yourself. And what is it that you can think of that you appreciate about yourself? You may be appreciative of your discipline. You may be appreciative of how you are able to bounce back right after a fall or a downfall or an emotion. Appreciative of holding yourself together when there was no one else to hold you. Appreciative of where you have come, a business you have built, a career, a parent, a caregiver. There's so many things that you're doing so fantastically in your life. I want you to go ahead and appreciate you. And with that, you take a slow, mindful breath through your nose. And on the exhale, just arriving back, open your eyes. And thank you so much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you.
Always so relaxing and wonderful. Thank you so much, Luna. And I just want to thank everybody that joined us today. We hope to connect in wellness community with you. Luna teaches a few times a week. Do you want to share your days and times?
Yes, right now I'm doing Wednesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern, and that is my extended 30-minute meditation session, mindfulness session. It's good, fun stuff themed around uh, the month, and we have great topics, and it's a good fit for everyone. You could be a very seasoned meditator or just a first timer. We accommodate everyone.
Absolutely. And we also offer wellness workshops as well. So thank you all. Have a beautiful, mindful love evening. And until next time, make it a utopia living day. See you.
Absolutely. Much
Thank
love.
you.
Bye.